Now I would like to invite our next speaker to the stage. Our next speaker is Yves Flückiger. He is the Vice Rector of the University of Geneva, and he is the former president of the Swiss Federal Equal Opportunity at Universities program. So he is a man who has helped work for and pioneer STEM access or gender equality at Swiss universities, and we look forward to hearing your experience on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you tonight. Thank you for the Swiss ambassador to inviting me to present this conference. It's also very nice to be the only man among so many women. And I will try to be as excellent as they are. It will be very difficult for me, but I will try and do my best. And to present some result of this Swiss Equal Opportunity at University program. And I will start with what was the situation in 2000, where we were less than 10% of female professors at universities, and the goal was to reach 25% by the year 2012. We did that by developing 3 modules, and they were quite successful, but not enough to get to this goal of 25% of female professors at Swiss universities. The first module was really to give money, financial means to the university to give incentive for them to nominate female professor. And the situation was, we started with 9% of female professors at Swiss universities, and now we are around 18%. So an increasing proportion of female professors at universities, but still we are not at 25%, the goal we wanted to reach in 2012. If we look at the situation in EPFL or ETH, it's a little bit more difficult. It's related to the STEM fields and domains, and we'll see that we started at 3% in 2003, and now we are 8%, but still there is a long way to go in the field of ETH and EPFL. If we are looking at newly nominated female professors at universities, the good news is the fact that for all the years we are a little bit above 70 or 18%, but there are a lot of fluctuation, and some years we are close to 30%, like in 2005, but then it's dropped again back to 18%. And if you want to reach the goal of 25% of female professors at universities, we should in fact hire 30% of newly nominated professors each year from now to 2016. So you see that it's very difficult, and we need to find new ways to improve the proportion of female professors at universities. The second module was related to the promotion of young female talents, primarily PhD students and postdocs. Again, that was a program related to mentoring. A lot of people have already said that having mentors is very important for women. And there was a lot of mentoring programs that were developed in Switzerland, networks, brochure, platforms to give information about the academic career. At the University of Geneva, we also created this Bourse d'Excellence, which is a kind of concourse or open position for women. And every year we are choosing 5 to 6 female professors which are going to get this Bourse d'Excellence. And the third module was also very important, just to make sure that we are able to conciliate academic career and family life by offering childcare, by developing also dual career couples, DCC, which is very important. We made an inquiry among the Swiss university and find out that among scientists, in fact, a lot of them are living in DCC constellation, and even more for women than for men. 45% of women are living with a man in, which is also related to universities. And it's also for the newly hired academic personnel, we find that a lot of them are involved in couple or relocation, and this has to be also taken care by DCC programs. The present status of the program for 2012 is the fact that the program was based on project basis with matching funds from universities. The evaluation was quite positive, but still we need to implement established measure and structure into the universities. And for that, we really need structural reforms, structural change for lasting effects. Now for the coming years, what we are going to do is really to change the program from modules to action plans for each universities, and also integrate gender study into this program. Before they were just separated, but now we think that it's very important to bring also research in gender studies in order to also make progress in terms of the nomination of female professors at universities. And I think we really need to have innovation, creativity, and courage for changing the way things are going at universities policy. And this innovation has to be developed into 3 domains. First of all, fix the number of women. And there are a lot of different kind of things that we may try to develop at universities. For instance, at the University of Geneva, we're trying to develop some kind of labs in physics, in chemistry, in order to convince young girls that STEM fields are also very attractive for them, are very interesting, very exciting. And this is a very successful experiment. We are every year attracting a lot of young women who are coming to these labs and making some experiments and finding out that this STEM field is very much also open to women. We need also to train next generation in terms of methods of sex and gender analysis. I was very happy to listen about the Andrea presentation before, because I'm quite sure that we need really to train this next generation in terms of the gender sex analysis. And also make sure that the hiring and promotion committee evaluate researchers at their capacity to implement gender analysis. In terms of innovation for institutions, we need also to make sure and to convince this institution that collective intelligence is improved by the presence of women. It's not only some convictions that I'm giving here tonight, but also there has been a lot of study proving that in fact industries and firms and universities are increasing their intelligence, collective intelligence, when there are more women in the leadership position. We need also to increase the number of female and or gender trained persons in the promotion commissions. We have made some analysis and trying to find out if there is a relation between the composition of this commission and the decision they are taking. And this is quite clear that when there are more women, more female or gender trained persons in this kind of commission, then there will be more also promotion of women or recruitment of women. At the University of Geneva, we have also tried to impose a quota, and the question of quota is always very much discussed among universities. And we decided not to impose a quota for recruitment, but at least a quota of 40% of female in the shortlist, which means that when a faculty is coming with a shortlist where there are not 40% of female, we are going back to the faculty and asking them to try to find other women to reach this 40% of female in the shortlist. And this may mean sometimes to open new positions in fields where there are enough female candidates. Sometimes they are too closely related and they are not open enough, and there will be less female candidates. And it means also that we need to broaden the profile of the job announcement in order not only to attract full professors, but also assistant professor and associate professor. And maybe also in terms of the granting agency, it could be a good idea that they are including also gender methodology in the research design. And finally, also in terms of peer-reviewed journals, They should require sophisticated use of sex and gender methodology when selecting papers for publication. But this is not something that it's really related to university, but I think it's very important that it's taking into account in terms of publication. And finally, we need also innovation in research. And in this domain, we need to fix the knowledge. That means that sex and gender bias in research limits very much the excellence of research and the potential benefits for the society. And employing sex and gender analysis really creates new knowledge. It increases the benefits for the society. It increases also the possibility to develop new ideas, new patents, and technology. So I think the goal was really to have a ladder for the women which is the same than for men. And at the end of the PhD, when women are facing a step which is very high, too high for them to be able to get to the top, we really need that. We hope that this program, Swiss federal program, will be able to reduce the highness of the steps and make sure that the women may be able also to get to the top of the position. Thank you very much for your attention.